So imagine the stimulus check is in hand and that you have a choice and you can only spend your stimulus on food, either food from grocery stores or food from restaurants or other places away from home. What would that look like? The short answer is that restaurants will get a slice of that pie, but it's certainly not a majority slice right now. People say that about 26% of that money, or 26% of people say they would spend that money primarily on restaurants over grocery stores. So the good news there is if you think about the allocation right now of the consumer dollar, if we were somewhere pretty close to 50-50 share of stomach previously, about 50% of money spent on food is away from home, about 50% is at home, give or take a couple percentage points. In the environment today, with how much food service has been down over the past few weeks, it's probably something more like 85-15. So this is actually an improvement from that. But just know that when people get their checks in hand, they're not going to be taking all of it and spending it just on restaurants. There are going to be some more immediate needs that they feel they have to sort of follow up with and get food from grocery stores as well. As we move back into a place where things are opening back up, we're going into work, the question is, what habits have consumers adopted during the pandemic, and are they going to continue doing those things or not? So it's quite interesting. Here's a list of behaviors that you can see. And at the top, we have the things that consumers say, most likely to continue doing. And what we notice really quickly is these all tend to be personal behaviors, right? Not specifically related to food, just personal behaviors that they say we're going to continue doing. The stuff at the bottom in blue, these are more things specific to food. So you almost have to consider, people say they're going to do something. Will they actually consider doing it? And that's why we like asking questions this way, so you can actually compare between items. So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to continue washing my hands more than I did before. I'm going to disinfect shopping carts and baskets at stores when I go shopping. I'm going to carry sanitizer with me wherever I go. I'm going to continue distancing myself from others in public. Consumers say they're more likely to continue doing these things than they are to avoid buffets or to disinfect their delivery packaging or to avoid raw food, for instance. So you have to sort of dial these numbers back a little bit, because I think there is a gap between what consumers say their immediate intention will be versus what they actually will end up doing in the long run. The concern about sitting down and eating in a restaurant, which is the thing that we've been asked not to do right now, is about the same or actually even a little bit lower than the concern with just the notion of socializing with the people that you work with or go to school with. And you have to ask, will we be in a world where that socialization just stops, right? Because the restaurant concern is actually a bit lower than that. So again, we're going to see some very rapid shifts in these types of numbers as we start opening things back up again. And I would just caution everyone that as you look at this, I would not pay as much attention when we're thinking about consumers projecting what their immediate behavior is going to be. I wouldn't pay as much attention to the absolute hard number and project that out. I would look more at the ranking between items, because I think that tells us how things are going to move relative to one another. The one thing we know is that restaurants are going to do a lot to provide a real sense of normalcy for consumers, right? The thing that they are most looking forward to for going back out to restaurants and bars again, it's not because they can get food that they couldn't normally get from home. It's nothing other than, I just want to feel normal again. Sitting down and eating at a restaurant or getting food from a restaurant, that is part of my definition of normal. That says to us there's a lot of pent-up demand, right? Because we all want to get to that place in our minds, and restaurants will be one of the primary tools that consumers use to achieve that sense of normalcy. So with that, we wanted to pivot to today's major topic, which is extreme adaptation?
Well, so the first little category that we're going to dive into is creative takeout and delivery, which, as you all know, actually many things could be in this category because basically everything is takeout and delivery now.
This is a great concept. Barcelona Wine Bar. They have about 20 locations in the country, and so they've done two things really, really well. One is to empower their employees to make decisions. So they said, wherever you are and whatever you need to do that works for your concept, in order for that location to survive, do it. Whatever you need to do. And so it's been different from location to location. I know there was one location where one of their clients, they were going to get married and their caterer dropped out. And they said, we're not going to cater anymore. And so they were still doing a socially distanced wedding. It was going to be small, but they still wanted to carry it out. And so Barcelona jumped in there and they actually provided the wine for that location. You can see right there in the picture, they actually, ask employees to write on the boxes, just little messages. We've seen that from a number of operators, whether it's just, hey, reaching out, letting you know I prepared this, to even saying only a single person at this location actually prepared this meal. There weren't 30 hands in it and I'm the person that did it. So.
And then we've seen a lot of examples with heat and eat. So I think there was one of the COVID reports that we did before that was talking about, people feel a lot safer if they can, pop something into the microwave, nuke it up, and then it feels a lot safer. So this is something that was cool that I saw in the UK, Pure, which is a fast casual, and they have they have a new work from home line. So, I think basically almost everyone is working from home now. So what a great way to showcase these little kits. They have like salads, they have snacks, beverages, everything. And they kind of name them after certain things too. So the one on the right is called the Peak Performance. So like, that's such a great message, right, Mike? Like just, here's something to be your peak performer, when you're working from home. So that's a great little and people like comfort foods, but I think they also still want something that's a little healthy they can feel good about.
It's about pop-up grocers.
Yeah, pop-up grocers. So actually so many places, since we put together this deck, have turned their restaurants into markets. So even not in here, like Subway is doing it, Panera's doing it, Freshie here is doing it. They have their essentials bundle for $45. So now you can get all of your healthy produce through them too. So if you're already getting something to eat from there, you can stock up your fridge as well. Don't have to run to several places.
Let's talk about do-it-yourself meal kits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, this was Seoul Taco, Mike?
Yeah, so we've seen, a number of locations either take the things that were traditionally on their menu and start offering them as a DIY kit just because, it's something for the family to do, or maybe you don't want to make it right away, or maybe you want to offer a larger portion so people can make it throughout the week. Like Seoul Taco here, you can actually order kind of anything on their menu, either as a pre-made item or as a DIY item. And they've developed these great little images here so you can actually see how to build it. You'll actually, come away with some of that knowledge when you're done as well.
Lots of fine dining restaurants are pivoting as well. And since we've said pivot 10 times, I'm going to make a Friends shout out for that episode if anybody's listening is a Friends fan. But lots of fine dining restaurants had never had to think about takeout before. So what are some places doing, Mike?
So Canlis in Seattle, probably a lot of people listening in have heard about them because they were one of the first to really start offering new options. You can see the logos here. They have a wide variety of options that get them through the day. So there's actually a bagel shop that they open in the morning. They offer pick up burgers during the day. And then at night they do these family meals. So they're a little bit higher of a price point. They do the famous salad that Canlis is known for. And then they do kind of fun things. You can see the one logo there is for their pianist actually performs from the restaurant. You can join the live stream while you eat your meal at night.
So let's look at some things that places are doing to make food even safer right now.
Oh, yeah. So this is Dickie's Barbecue Pit, and they have doorstop delivery. So lots of places are doing that now, contactless delivery. But they also have, Mike, I think you were talking about this earlier, that tamper evident little, almost looks like caution tape on there. Just so you can tell, once it was packaged, no one has messed with your food. So that's really nice. And speaking of, family meals, almost so many of the chains have been doing family meals now. And that's just a term that just kind of brings everyone like kind of a little smile and you feel warm about it. Longhorn has curbside to go now for family meals. And I know it might kind of hurt too to have, add an additional percentage on there, but just having that 15% off too, promotion can kind of help people, get on that bandwagon. Booze, we could do a whole thing about alcohol here. But this is from Acadia in Chicago. And so they have everything nicely wrapped up. That one on the right is the social distancing punch. And how nice to have all those instructions, everything laid out for you, and a fun little note on there as well.
We saw last week in some of the data that consumers more than ever are saying, I want to support restaurants that need help, or I want to support what's local in my community. And here's some things that some places are doing that I think we can all learn from. So Mike,
Yeah.
can you take us?
Oh yeah, so this is Junzi Kitchen in New York. And when I first looked at them, I was kind of writing about their family meals and to-go kits. But then I saw that they were doing this, donate a bowl, give back to healthcare workers.
We've seen so many operators doing that. This is Demos here in Chicago. So they're a pizza operator. You can actually see on the left there, they've taken over their windows. They have, I don't know if you can read it there, but it actually has statistics week over week of how many coronavirus infections there are, but then actually how many recoveries there are week over week as well. And then they've actually started using their pizza ovens to mold masks, so shields for healthcare operators. So during the day, they'll cook pizzas that they'll send out, and then at night, they'll mold shields for healthcare operators.
Yeah, and I think we can't say this enough, whether you're a manufacturer or a big chain or a smaller operator, think about what you could do for your community in a way that's going to be meaningful to that community and message it. It really is going to be the one thing that people are going to remember the most. And the more visual you can make it, the better. And all this information will be posted on the coronavirus resource page, along with dozens of other reports that you can find there right now.